Right, good evening. We'll convene the special meeting of the City Council of the City of Grand Terrace for July 26, 2018. If you'd like to speak on this item, the one item that we have on the agenda, please give your request to speak form to the city clerk. At this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please rise and join me in the pledge to our nation's flag. Madam City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Henderson,
Present.
Councilmember Hesse,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Robles,
I'm here.
Mayor McNabo,
Present.
Councilmember Wilson is absent.
Thank you.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Thank you. At this time is public comment on this item only. Are there any requests to speak on the one item on our agenda?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. So we'll move on to our next bit of business. And in speaking with the city attorney, I understand that it is up to the council members as to whether they would like to recess to closed session or whether they'd like to have the discussion out here. Is that conveyed correctly, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor, as a member of the council, the closed session was put on so that we'd cover every possibility. If the city council wishes to, has a concern about the agreement and wants to talk to their city negotiator, which would be Mr. Duffy, they could go into closed session on that.
Okay.
But it's not required just because it's on the agenda.
Okay.
Well, I think we'll briefly go into closed session just to make sure that everybody's satisfied.
Okay. All right, so at this time, the council will recess to closed session. I will be recusing myself. The closed session item is a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to paragraph 1 of subdivision D of Government Code section 54956.9, City of Grand Terrace versus the Riverside Highland Water Company. My husband currently serves as a member of the board of directors of the Riverside Highland Water Company, and that creates a conflict of interest for me. So I will recuse myself from the closed session, and at this time.
Madam Mayor, if I may, just for the record, I'm familiar with the circumstances that the mayor just indicated, and it's not a voluntary thing. Under the law, she must recuse herself from this item.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll reconvene the meeting of the Grand Terrace City Council. We had a closed session, no new decisions were made, and there's nothing to report. Now we're going to do new business. It's a stipulated judgment and release of joint statement between the City of Grand Terrace and Riverside Highland Water Company. Recommendation, review and approve the stipulated judgment and joint press release between the City of Grand Terrace and the Riverside Water Highland Company. And at this point, I'll ask any of my colleagues to make any comments if they so choose.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to hear the brief presentation from City Manager Duffy regarding this.
Thank you, Councilman Henderson. For the record, G. Harold Duffy, City Manager. What we have is the City of Grand Terrace versus Riverside Highland Water Company. This is the stipulated judgment agreement between both parties. So the highlights of the stipulated judgment agreement is that the City of Grand Terrace is authorized by the Franchise Act of 1937 to charge utilities a franchise fee for the use of city streets. And a franchise fee is not a tax based upon the Franchise Fee Act of 1937. Riverside Highland Water agrees to pay the city a franchise fee of $23,000 annually starting in March 2019. But because this matter has been under negotiations for a while, Riverside Highland Water will pay the city a prorated franchise fee on September 1st, 2018 of $11,500. And so the combined amount for this fiscal year for the city would be $33,500. The City of Grand Terrace also acknowledges that Riverside Highland Water Company has always paid the city a street and curb cut fees when the city gave them notification. In addition, Riverside Highland Water Company is a valued community partner. Both parties will release the attached joint statement indicating a continued partnership. With that, I'm available for any questions.
I think at this point, I'll go ahead and read the key paragraph on this agreement. The City Council of the City of Grand Terrace and the Board of Directors of the Riverside Highland Water Company acknowledge that both parties are committed to work together toward the delivery of quality services to maintain the quality of life for residents and business owners within the City of Grand Terrace. Okay, Councilman Hussey?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, may I suggest that even though you had the public comment before, it was really about the closed session, now we have the item out here, you might want to call to see if anybody from the public wants.
Okay. We'll move to public comment. Thank you. I'll recognize Jeff Allen.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. Jeff Allen, Brentwood Street, Grand Terrace. I'd like to, as a resident, this issue was something that had really concerned me and other residents that I had spoken with about it because of the concern of possible, drastic rate increases just to cover litigation costs. And so if the council is so inclined to, shake hands with the water company and resolve this issue, I personally would like to thank you for doing that and to move on past this. I would like to thank Mr. Duffy and Ms. Fortune for bringing this to our attention finally, and not discuss about why it took all these years and all this many city managers to find it and resolve it, but I would just like to say that it's great that it's resolved and we can move forward. But I would like to know is there something in the agreement that's going to allow for rate increases due to, everything goes up over time. Everything costs more over time. What asphalt probably in 1950 cost a third of what it costs today, if that much. So that's, my point is, that's the only question I had. Thank you.
City Manager would like to respond.
Yes, so the way the agreement is configured is that if there is an increase in the rates over time, the percentage of the same percentage of the rate increase would apply to the franchise fee. But I wanted to say this is franchise fee is for the use of the city infrastructure. The cost for asphalt and curb cut fees is a separate fee, which is not in dispute. It's never been in dispute in terms of what the city's fees are with Riverside Highland Water Company. So we're settled on both of those ends. The agreement is airtight on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I think what I'll go ahead and do is entertain a motion and a second, and then we'll have discussion.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I move that the City Council approve the stipulated agreement and the attached joint statement between the city and Riverside Highland Water Company, which is included by reference in the stipulated agreement, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion passes with council members Henderson and Hussey voting yes. Mayor Pro Tem Robles voting yes. Mayor McNamara is recused.
Be time to call her back.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, could I make a few comment?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're going to stop so we can have the mayor come back.
The action's been taken.
It's,
Yeah, so she can come back because the action's been taken.
Madam Mayor, I had asked to be recognized to make a few comments regarding the action just taken.
Councilmember Henderson?
So I believe today is a great day in Grand Terrace. And it bears repeating, I think today is a great day in Grand Terrace. I think the settlement agreement between Riverside Highland and the city of Grand Terrace is a most positive thing and something that we can build upon into the future. Riverside Highland is a valuable partner to the city of Grand Terrace. And as we move forward with the implementation of our Vision 2030, particularly the economic development element, Riverside Highland plays a valuable role in terms of the permitting and development advisory board proceedings with our development partners. So I am most pleased that the council and Mr. McKeever and the board for Riverside Highland have done a really good job here working through the issues and developing the agreement that the council just approved. And finally, I'd like to thank Mayor Pro Tem Robles and Councilmember Hussey. If you recall, the council had appointed myself and Mr. Hussey to the subcommittee, and due to the passing of my sister, the Mayor Pro Tem substituted for me in the negotiations with Riverside Highland. And the efforts of Mayor Pro Tem Robles and Mr. Hussey, along with the Riverside Highland Board, resulted in the agreement today that was just approved. So, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hussey?
Thank you, Councilmember Henderson. I just want to, like Jeff Allen said, thank the residents who came up. You know, their concerns is, of course, you know, I don't blame them for their concerns. They wanted to know what was going on. But the meetings I had with the residents and their positive attitude when we had a good long talk and showed them what's happening. But, you know, this is a good day, and I'm glad we could work together and resolve this, and it's going to benefit the city in the future. You know, take care of the matters now, and that's what we do. We vote on stuff to, you know, sometimes might not be popular, but we have to take care of it, and we got to work through it, and it worked out great with everybody's partnership and negotiations. So, but once again, I want to thank the residents for their consideration and their time, and, you know, and their questions they had for, and their concerns for this. So thank you, Mr. Allen, and the rest of the residents that I spoke to, and it's nice talking to them anyway, and get to meet them. But, and Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for taking the role on this, and Mr. Duffy and our attorneys, and that's all I have. I'm glad it's a positive turnout, and we can move forward from this and let it close chapter. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I have to say that I'm really pleased to have participated in the mediation. It was really wonderful to work with the gentleman on the other side of the table. You know, when we greeted each other in the morning and shook hands, and you could tell that we were all there to do a good job for our respective constituency, which is you, the citizens of Grand Terrace. And it was, you know, a difficult day. We were ushered by the expert skill of the mediator, the retired judge, Jeffrey King. And I just can't tell you how emotional it was, and just personally fulfilling to have a renewed relationship. And I pledge to keep that relationship positive moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm just going to add thank you and congratulations to my colleagues for bringing this to a close. And it seems like it's a good settlement all the way around. So thank you very much. We will adjourn this session. The next regular City Council meeting will be held Tuesday, August 14th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Agenda item requests must be submitted in writing to the City Clerk's office no later than 14 calendar days preceding the meeting. So at this time, we are adjourned.
I know we're adjourned, but I'd like to personally thank Mr. Duffy for his efforts in this respect. He's been at it for quite some time. Hasn't always been easy, but stayed focused, and so here we are. Great day in Grand Terrace.
Here, here.